Sacrificial lamb.
I love that run.
Sorry.
She's scared of her Aztec backgrounds.
But yes, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Tristan, lock it up. I'm just kidding. Andrew Jepsen is our next featured reader. Are you ready over there? Okay.
She's asking if you're ready, buddy.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew's been writing since he was very young, and he hasn't done much of note recently, which I beg to differ. I think you do lots of amazing things every day. He's been working on a book, namely, but that and $4 will get you a 4-barrel cappuccino. Nice. If that's how you want to spend it. He's been a bellhop, a PR flack, which I take offense to. But,
Keep being offended.
a manager at Walgreens, a bookseller, a call center employee, a lawnmower, a greenhouse manager, a professional tea server, which I really want to know more about, a farmer, a bartender, a cowboy, a barista, a cook, an office manager, and a music writer. That's a lot. He was first published in 6th grade when he won a statewide competition with a poem about a stray cat that is gassed to death because no one wants it. He's really fun. Please welcome Andrew Jepsen.
This is called What Began. I followed Wendy to the tower. She'd been going there a lot lately. The first time, we ended up there on accident, and she stood with empty, dull eyes, watching the blinking red lights on Sutro as the sun set, our shadows long like they were stitched to our feet. I shouted her name and even pushed her, but she didn't move for like 20 minutes, and then said she didn't know what I was talking about and laughed like I'd made a joke. She said it was nice to ride her bike with me. She felt like it had been weeks. It had been more like a year, but I didn't say that. The second time, I followed her and crouched behind a eucalyptus, holding my killer fixie named Gary. I built him for like $20, and by giving away old produce from Neverland Grocer to some good people with good connects. She stared like a gutted fish hung from a line or something, totally motionless, when another bike rider came up to her. It was a dude. Fuck. Of course it was a fucking dude. She'd been so distant, never coming out to drink Steel Reserve in Dolores, bailing on our friends' shows in basements in Oakland. I knew it had to be a dude. All wearing like Beta brand like a yuppie. His bike was some bullshit $1,500 thing, all come in a box from Germany or some shit. What an ass douche. And who the hell wears a goddamn blazer on a bike? I, on the other hand, was looking crazy fresh in my tank top with a cat shooting lasers out of its eyes all over a pizza in space. It's hilarious. I waited for him to like bust out a dozen roses or whatever bullshit rich people do, but they just stood there. And after a bit, they both rode off like they didn't know each other. The third time, there were more people. And the fourth time, more than that. All still, all watching, like hollowed out meat. That was the first time I heard that hum, low and coming from nowhere. Wendy got off her teal 10-speed Schwinn that she bought last year after giving away the hella sick cruiser that she'd found behind some plywood when we first started dating like 6 years ago. The clouds poured over Sutro to disappear in the Castro. Her little golden owl earrings chimed distantly in the wind, and her red curly hair bounced around her wax-still face. Then some chick showed up in yoga pants, which suited me just fine. Don't get me wrong, Wendy's sick, but there's a lot of butts in San Francisco. And more people came until there were hundreds of them. They just stared up at the red and white antenna tower, 1,000 feet of steel piercing the light fog. It was the same every time. The same low hum, just louder, and with more drop-limbed people, all waiting for something. A large police shouted from under the tower, all right, you weirdos. I don't know what kind of Saint Stupid or Improv Everywhere or Burning Man cult shit this is, and I don't give a shit. I'm putting up barriers today. No one responded. No one looked at her. She glared at them. You weirdos! The hill bit the sun and swallowed it like a snake does an egg. And first, Yoga Girl. And then others sort of looked around like they were surprised to be there and rode off. Hundreds walking and riding away. I heard the cops shouting, demanding to know what they were doing. And an old couple asked what she was talking about. Wendy was the last to leave. I followed her as she bombed down Market before switching to 18th and then down to our pad on Van Ness. She was already in front of her laptop checking emails. Oh, hey, Peter. I got some tickets for the ballet. You want to go with me? We could have a nice date. Oh, well, that sounds nice, but babe, you know I'm supposed to go to Dave's for junior high school night. Dave was throwing a sick-ass party. It was going to be totally hilarious. We were going to play Turtles on Super Nintendo and bake up some Totino's pizza. I mean, who does that? It's so funny. Besides, don't you need like a suit or something? I hear if you don't wear a cummerbund, they straight up serve you to the richest people there. It's totally legal too. That's what's crazy. I can take Belle. It's fine. I just wanted to take you. Since when did you care about the ballet anyway? It's crazy pretentious. Wendy looked wounded and pulled her sweater over her shoulders, covering up the chickadee tattoos perched on her collarbones. She'd gotten them when we first started dating, and I'd gotten a tattoo of a meatloaf sandwich on my thigh. It's so stupid. Awesome. Wendy began covering up the birds when she got her social, marketing, fucking whatever job a few years back. We totally couldn't afford this bitching pad without her job, so that's tight. But she's been getting all corporate on us since. The tower thing is new, but not this attitude. All of a sudden, she thinks like a pizza box left out overnight is a fucking hate crime or something. On our first date, we blew up a watermelon at 2 a.m. just outside of the Uptown. It was hilarious. And we'd been hooking up for like months before then. But that was the first time she publicly touched me, because her ex was a spaz who seriously cried for like a month when they broke up. I heard. He got Wendy's name tattooed on his dick. But that's probably a lie. I mean, probably, right? But if that's true, does that mean he loved her more than I do? Because like, I guess my dick is more hers than mine at this point. But getting it removed would fucking kill, right? Babe, I've always liked the ballet because I'm fancy. Then why haven't you been in the last 6 years we've been dating? Hey Peter, remember that thing where we were broke and how now I have a good job? Are you saying my job is bad? Well, you've been a fruit stacker at Neverland for like 5 years. I'm just doing that until my paintings take off. I had been painting Sasquatch on reclaimed wood for years. Only like, he's pretty depressed all the time. Usually kind of crying while at the DMV or dealing with some atrocities of modern day capitalism or whatever. My latest is him trying to understand the billing in a hospital where his kid is in a coma. Peter, you know I love Sasquatch. I really believe in you. But when was the last time you finished a painting? That's not the point. The point is that all of a sudden, you want to go do rich people stuff. And I'm stuck here without you. I miss you, Wendy. I don't get it. 1 minute we're playing Connect 4 until 1 a.m. at Doc's clock, and now you want to go to ballet. What's next, Wendy? Guest towels? Screw the ballet. Come out with me. We'll ride bikes, and eat shawarma, and drink a 40 in the parklet outside of Free Will. Jesus, Peter. We did that shit like 6 years ago. We just gotten out of college. I don't understand why you can't be happy today with what you were happy with last year. Well, situations changed. We changed. I didn't. She looked at me sadly. Suddenly, it didn't sound like such an accomplishment. Look, I'll go with Belle. Why don't you work on your paintings? You'll do something amazing with Sad Squatch one day. I know you will. I watched her slip on a black dress that must have cost like at least $30, and not even secondhand. I started to clean the apartment while she was gone, so she would know I was sorry, but I wouldn't have to like actually say I'm sorry. When my phone played the theme song from Full House, it was Dave. Shit. How the hell did I forget Turtles? No one should ever forget Turtles. I peeled out on Gary and wobbled down Funston Street. Dave got the place specifically so he could make jokes about it being a ton of fun on Funston. It was such a stupid, dumb joke. So funny. I brought us some Goomp Farm and Smirnoff Ice, but Krang totally bitch slapped us. It sucked, man. When I got home, I came in quiet. Wendy laid at the kitchen table, Steele in her nice dress and her owl earring take a nap under her red hair. On her laptop was a picture of Sutro Tower. Nothing else, just the picture. I closed it and rubbed her back until she opened her eyes and smiled at me. Hi, babe. Come to bed. She latched onto me in bed, and I held her just as tightly. This is how things used to be. This is how things were supposed to be. I brushed her shoulder with the back of my fingernails, like I always did, and she always liked. And she muttered sleepily, like she always did. Don't you remember how nice this is? I whispered to her. I remember every day I see you. I told her this in her sleep, so I could try to say it in the morning. I woke to an empty bed. I felt the sheets next to me. Cold-ish. I mean, colder than if two people were in it for long, I think. Fuck, I don't know. But I did know where she was. I saw the people before I saw Wendy. And I saw the lights before I saw the people. Red and blue flashed on eucalyptus and on empty faces. And I heard the low hum, loud, and I felt sick, my mouth drying. I pushed my way through. No one asked what my problem was, or said they'd waited through the opener. They all just stared with wide, wet, open eyes, looking up at the flashing red dots that speckled the joints of the tower. Wendy stood in front, her teal 10-speed on the bike, on the ground. The cop was right. The tower was sealed off with chain link fences. A dozen police milled around, nervously looking at the thousands of people. I touched Wendy and said her name. What are you doing? Look at me. Look at me, for fuck's sake. Jacobs! Jacobs, what the hell? Said a cop, and pushed another cop who was staring up at the tower. Jacobs didn't say shit, but staggered, then stood tall, staring up. The humming got louder, and Wendy's lips split open, and I realized she was singing that same note, softly, and louder, and then louder. People around her started singing too. The note grew. Strange, low-pitched moan running from every mouth and up the legs of the tower. The cops' mouths broke open like eggs, and they sang. "Wendy, please," I said, inaudible above the collective moan. Her sudden hand grabbed the fence, and her other hand touched mine. For a moment, I thought it was going to be okay, that she'd heard me, and that we could go back to how we were, that we could be together like nothing had ever changed. But then she held my hand. My mouth opened, my hand reached out and held the fence, and we pushed, and we poured like the fog in reverse, thousands of us strong, running to the tower with our mouths split wide in urgent joy, watching and waiting for what we knew would come.